When the buckwheat flowers bloom. Lee Hyuk is one of Korea's most representative short story writers. Known for his lyrical prose and beautiful depictions of nature. Born in Pyeongchang, Gangwon Province, he studied at Kijo Imperial University, now Seoul National University, and actively wrote throughout the 1930s. His most famous work, When the Buckwheat Flowers Bloom 1836, is a poetic short story set in Bongpyeong, Gangwon Province. This piece is celebrated as one of the greatest short stories in Korean literature, capturing themes of fate and life's journey with a sensual and lyrical writing style. Lee Hyuk initially wrote in a realist style, addressing social issues, but later transitioned to a more nature-centered and emotionally rich prose. Though he passed away at the young age of 35, his literary contributions remain significant in Korean literary history. One moonlit night, as the marketplace in Bongpyeong, Gangwon Province, was closing, and people were disappearing one by one, three peddlers set out on their journey: Hugh Sangwon, Jo Seondal, and a young newcomer named Dong. These men were traveling merchants, wandering from place to place, selling their goods in different markets. Business was terrible today, Hugh Sangwon grumbled, clenching his fists. But what could he do? If today was bad, perhaps tomorrow would be better. And so the three men began their journey, walking under the moonlight along a field of white buckwheat flowers. As they walked, they naturally fell into conversation, and soon Hugh Sangwon began reminiscing about a romance from his youth. "Listen, back when I was young." His story took them to a time long ago, to another marketplace, where he had once met a woman. That night, after finishing his business, Hugh Sangwon had had a few drinks. It was then that he met a young woman with quiet, beautiful eyes. Their meeting felt like fate, and they spent a single night together. Hugh Sangwon never forgot that night. He searched for her afterward, but he could never find her again. Since then, she had remained nothing more than a legend in his life. As Hugh Sangwon recounted his story, the young Dongyu listened in silence. Then, unexpectedly, Dongyu spoke about his mother. "My mother used to sell goods at the marketplaces in Gangwon Province, and she always told me a story about a special connection she once had with a traveling merchant." At those words, Hugh Sangwon was startled. Something felt strange uncannily. Dongyu's story seemed to overlap with his own past. Could it be? Is this boy my son? But he couldn't be sure. All he felt was a peculiar, overwhelming emotion rising in his heart. As they continued walking through the moonlit fields of blooming buckwheat, Hugh Sangwon fell deep into thought. The world is full of mysteries. Something that once existed only as a memory of longing has now returned as a new connection. Dongyu walked ahead, while Hugh Sangwon gazed after him. At that moment, the buckwheat flowers shimmered like white snowflakes under the moonlight, gently embracing Hugh Sangwon's heart. His steps grew lighter like a new hope blooming among the buckwheat flowers. When the buckwheat flowers bloom may seem like a simple story, but beneath its surface lies the mystery of fate and human connections. Hugh Sangwon is a man who has carried the memory of a fleeting love throughout his life. And then, in an unexpected moment, the trace of that love returns in the form of a new Dong. In the final scene of the story, Hugh Sangwon and Dongyu walk together along a road blanketed with buckwheat flowers in full bloom. What destiny awaits them at the end of that path? The story remains open-ended, reflecting the mystery of fate and the new connections that bloom when the buckwheat flowers appear. Just like the shimmering buckwheat flowers beneath the moonlight, life moves in cycles, always returning, always blooming once again.